Now, Hugh O'Malley, I believe you were a great rower in your time.
Well, I'm very flattered that you used the expression "great." I would describe myself as an enthusiastic oarsman rather than a great oarsman.
And who did you row for?
Well, I rowed for 6 years for University College Dublin, for UCD, and I rowed for a year on the maiden eight, and for the next 5 years I rowed in the senior eight.
And did you win any trophies?
Well, I was rowing for such a long period of time that naturally won nearly everything that was available to win in the senior rowing, and I also won in the maiden eight. I was lucky. You see, in rowing, it's like, unlike any other, or like a lot of sports, there's a lot of other fellas rowing with you. And if you're lucky that they're better than you are, then you're lucky to win a few trophies, even though you may be just an enthusiastic average oarsman yourself.
So you rowed with UCD?
That's right, solely with UCD.
What years were them?
That was 1951 to about 1956.
Okay.
It's a long time.
And you played rugby?
Well, I played a bit of rugby at the university as well, but not a lot.
You played a lot with Westport?
Oh, I did, yeah.
I remember you playing with Westport.
Oh, that's right. I had the good fortune to play with a strong, enthusiastic rugby player like yourself.
We played together?
We did, on many occasions.
Many occasions, yeah.
You led by example.
What year did you join up Westport about?
Oh, that was about 1960, and I rowed for about 10 to 15 years.
With the rugby now? The rugby?
That's right,
rugby,
yeah.
And who was playing that time on the team?
There was a lot of people. There was the Welches and other people who we've interviewed beforehand. And I have a photograph. I think you're on the photograph as well. Didn't you win the
Junior Cup, yeah.
With me. That's in 1966.
No, I wasn't on that one, no. No, that's before my time.
Oh, all right, so well, I'm a little bit senior to yourself, Oliver.
Who else on that team was?
Pardon?
Who was on that team that time in the 60s and 50s?
Well,
Pierce Gill was he on?
Pardon?
Was Pierce Gill on?
I know. Well, I played a bit of rugby with Pierce Gill, but when I joined Westport full time, he had left.
Jack McAleer?
Well, Jack was on it. That's quite correct. Yeah.
Teddy Welch?
Teddy Welch.
That was the front row.
That's right. Yeah. And Jack McAleer was in the front row.
Who was the back? Who would be in the back line that time? Or second? Who would be in the second row that time?
Brendan McBride. Charlie Gardner was one of the second row forwards.
Yeah.
And because the two Welches were the halves, and Joe Kilbride, and who else was in the backs? And there's a fellow from Northern Ireland. He was working down in Newport, and he was the other centre.
Can you remember his name? No?
I just can't remember it off the cuff now.
Yeah. And Stephen Walsh had been playing, and Liam Walsh had been playing.
Was, yeah, they were the half-backs, and they were very good. Stephen got 3 tries in the final against UCD up in Galwegians when he won the cup.
He won the Junior Cup.
Yeah, it was an exceptional effort on Stephen's part.
Three was a lot.
It was, yeah, to get one at all.
Can you remember what year that was?
That was 1966.
66. So the next time it was won in 1975.
That's right. Yeah, I remember it wasn't won for 10 years before we won it.
Well, it hasn't been won since from 1975 to 2011 at this stage. I mean, if you had told us that in 1975 it wouldn't be won by 2011, you said that couldn't happen, you know. So anyway, you were in business in town here for a while.
We were, yeah. Well, my family were in a lot of business, and the business which I was mostly involved in was Lastra Foundations. And we made ladies' underwear, of all things. Ladies Unmentioned was a bit more better title. But we exported quite a bit, and believe it or not, we exported to England and to British Home Stores and to Harrods. And the buyers of these establishments came over to Westport, the company, we sold to them. And we also sold to the Scandinavian countries. And this will surprise you more than anything else, because we sold to Libya. And at one time, we were the market leaders in Libya in ladies' underwear.
Oh, that was a great accolade, wasn't it?
And
did you have IDA support that time, or was that pre-IDA, or were they involved?
We did. We applied for. Naturally, it was my job to try and get as money in from the banks, and also to get money grants from the government for machinery. And the government were very, very helpful. And we bought a lot of machinery from the government, which helped us immensely. Now, unfortunately, we were in, as you probably are well aware, the textile industry in Ireland is nearly gone.
It collapsed, didn't it?
Yeah, it was collapsed, sadly, and a lot of companies went bust. And amazingly enough, one of the few companies left in Ireland is owned by the Hugheses, and they are still manufacturing iron sweaters.
That's right.
And they manufacture iron sweaters, and they export them mostly to America, I believe.
There was a bit of a
Sorry?
there was a bit of a textile industry around town. Wasn't there a thread factory and a shoe factory?
There was a shoe factory, and we made thread, and we also wove fabric to other companies around the town, you know. And sadly, there's no. I think the Hugheses are one of the few textile manufacturing companies left in the country.
That have survived.
It's a great credit to them to be able to do that.
Absolutely, yeah. What was it like living in Westport when you were a young fella? Which is a good few years ago now.
I'm glad you mentioned the fact that it was a good few years ago. It certainly was. And I think Westport now has amenities for everything. You know, it's got a very good tennis club, and there are 4 gymnasiums in the town, and 4 swimming pools, and you have all these advantages.
Golf club.
You went out to the sea during the summertime and they got a few swims. Nowadays these facilities are available to everybody the whole year round. So people can have a much better life in Westport now than when I'm not saying that when I was young it was very pleasant living in Westport. I'm just emphasising the fact, the advantages which the current generation have.
What was the town like that time? Was there much traffic in it, or
no,
donkeys and carts, or what was in it?
People often, you could play football out in Bridge Street during the winter time.
And what kind of vehicles were in it?
Well, there was probably cars. There were quite a few cars. There would be a few cars parked around the town, you know.
And can you remember pony and traps and horses and carts? And were they on it?
No,
they were gone by then, were
they?
The
odd person with a pony and trap, but it was a rarity rather than the usual. Generally, people had a car, you know. But still, there was very little traffic in the streets, very little traffic all over the town.
So there weren't many cars, really?
No, very few.
Okay, yeah. How did you spend your spare time as a young fella around Westport long ago?
Well, I played a little bit of Gaelic during the winter time, and during the summertime then we'd mostly go to the beach and go to the point. An awful lot of people in those days used to swim at the point. And it'd be packed out there. It was a good summer. There'd be quite a lot of people out there swimming. And it was a nice place to swim because the water appeared always to be warm there.
Warm, because it came a long way in along the sand, yeah.
It was a nice place to swim.
And would there be a lot of people down there?
There would be, but I mean, you know, a lot of people. In terms of, if you go down there now, there's nobody there.
Down there.
You have to go, if you want to go with some people generally, go to the swimming pools in the town. And then you'll see people, of course, at Birthroy and at Old Head, as you would in the old days. We would go out there as well, cycle out, of course.
Was the Bath Hotel in operation that time?
It was. I never went to it.
We never in it?
No, I was never in it. My father, God rest his soul, he used to go into it quite regularly.
Because it was right across from the point there, wasn't it?
That's
the
right,
point.
that's right, yeah.
You never put your head in, no?
No, I never even noticed.
Never put your head in.
It's supposed to be very good. I think it's very good for your skin and all that. And a lot of people used to do it.
Did they have seaweed baths, or was it just...
The seaweed, that was the seaweed bath.
The seaweed bath.
Yeah.
Who owned it?
I forget now who owned it the most.
I think Stanton's owned it at the end, didn't they?
I think it was.
Josie Stanton, yeah.
You were what described in Westport as a blow-in.
Absolutely.
And yet you know more about the town than I do.
You don't have to remind me, I'm told that every day.
Is that right? How uncivilised are my fellow citizens of Westport?
Well, I suppose you had to get a few blow-ins to kind of support you. You had other brothers involved in business.
That's right. Both my brothers. I'm the only remaining member of my family. My sister is died sadly, and my 2 brothers sadly have.
That was Jeff and Brendan.
That was Jeff and Brendan. And Jeff was, I'd say, a very enthusiastic businessman, and he persuaded the Hugheses to start a joint venture with us, and we opened a Hotel Westport. Now the point about it is that we were quite a long time. But business was very seasonal there. Sometimes you'd have a good year, and other times you wouldn't have a good year. It was mostly dependent on the amount of tourists that visited the country during the summertime. However, the Hugheses then were keen to build a swimming pool. We decided, first of all, there a number of years back, that we'd build a functions room. So we built a functions room, and then we went on to that. The next step was a swimming pool and a gymnasium. But anyhow, we came to the pattern of the way the Hughes wanted to go ahead, and we said we'd pull out. So the Hughes went ahead with the gymnasium and the swimming pool, and they've done a great job down there.
Very successful, yeah?
Well, they've added another 80 bedrooms on, and they really have they've upgraded the hotel. They upgraded recently all the old rooms, and so now they have 4-star status, which is quite difficult to get. But they have done a remarkably good job down there.
Can you remember what year the hotel was open?
It was about 20 years ago now.
Yeah. And you had a wholesale business?
Pardon? That's right. I wasn't involved in that. Now, my two brothers
in
were
the family,
involved.
yeah.
That's right, yeah. But then again, the chains have taken over now, and that is probably the O'Connells. They have stayed on, and I must compliment them for staying on.
They've survived it, yeah.
What's that?
They have survived it.
They have, which amazes me, you know, because it's so difficult, as I said, with all the chains to it. Because once the chains come in, they weed out is probably not the best term to use, but all the smaller guys then, the smaller shops and the smaller wholesalers go by the wayside.